Okay, so I just want to go through this chart so everyone can see this, right? Let's go over here. Sorry, over here. Let's be very, very simplistic in how we're approaching this. I'm going to count off ES as well. Okay. Just trade in the direction of and nothing else on the turn. In the direction of, on the turn. Has to be bar number one. And that's all I'm going to trade. And I'm not going to look at whether we're above, below, anything else. I'm just going to get past 9 o'clock. Okay, so I'm going to blow out the first half hour. I'm going to start trading at 9 o'clock, and I'm just going to trade in the direction of long and short. Okay, let's count the wins, and then we can do the math afterwards. So this means you can't tell location. You have no idea which way the market's going. You have no concept of up or down. You just know dots, right? And we're going to do them on the turn with a 24-point stop. After 9 o'clock, that's trade one. Okay. And I'm going to make a rule on the turn. It has to be at least 2 bars in a row, not this 1 bar. It takes more skill to do that. So we're just going to do, it has to be 2 bars in a row. Okay. Stop. So now look at your first bar. That first bar went from, it looks like 55 down to 09. Let's just call it 40 points. Minus 24 points. Turn bar. You're still in the trade over here, so that one doesn't count. Turn bar. Orange dot. Stop. Turn bar. Turn bar. Let's see if that survived the 24 points or you got stopped. That survived the 24 points, paid. Okay. Turn bar, obviously paid. Turn bar, obviously you could have scalped out of that. You would have still been in this trade hypothetically, so I'm not going to count any of that. Turn bar, turn bar. Oh, that's all. That's the whole day. Oh, that was Wednesday. Sorry, let's go to Thursday. We'll do it one more time. Same exact exercise, right? I'm trying to hammer this in, right? Because if you can put the other pieces together, right? And you go, okay, I trade the turn bar. Here's 9 o'clock. 9:03 a.m., roughly there. Okay, so we're going to start trading. Turn bar. Turn bar. Turn bar, not counting it because it's not 2 bars down. Stop. Turn bar. You're still in here, hopefully. Turn bar. Stop. Turn bar. Stop. Turn bar. Paid. I'm not going to count that as a turn bar, and then the day's over. Okay? You did fine. I don't know that you made $1 billion, but you came out of that just fine, right? Now, do I take trades the other way? Yeah, right? Like I would have gone long here, closed over the orange bar, right? I would have hoped that I could have gotten a bar underneath here. And then if you wanted to make it more selective, the orange bars are the weakest. The ones with the double circles are the strongest. That's the easiest way to go through that process, right? So, I mean, that's our process in a nutshell. If you can't figure out anything else, you're pulling your hair out, right? And don't freak out when it doesn't pay you. If it stops you, just go, okay, next trade, no problem. Next trade, no problem, right? The other thing I want to show you is when you're on the bigger bar, the 40 tick, right? Okay. Look at yesterday on the 40 tick, on the turns, same way. I'm not confident on the stuffs yet. Turn bar, turn bar, turn bar, turn bar, turn bar. I may be missing one in here. Turn bar. And that's it. We missed that. We missed that up. Although that Asia gave you a pretty nice picture right there. Right? Okay. And then this morning, turn bar. Right? Those big ones are important. If you need the full bar as a stop, I think 30 points keeps you in most of these trades, but that's 603 to 80. That's like that stop right there was actually 23 points, right? So 30 definitely keeps you in the trade, lets it wick behind, and that trade goes from 603, right, to 650. If it's a bigger stop, adjust. Do they all work? Nopers, right? But I would be looking at those trades on the turn. And before we get overabsorbed in, well, Simon, should I be taking all of those, right? Remember, some markets, like here, this is a different market, right? So over here, what you're going to see is if you take the shorts, you're going to get stopped, right? So now watch this in a market so let's just do that same math over here, okay? We'll go through and we'll start at 9 o'clock. I'm going to take them on the turn bar. Okay, so first of all, I would know that I'm in trend down, but just the same, look. This is 901, but I'll point it out as a stop. Stop. Paid. Look at the difference between the stop and the paid, right? 2 up. Paid, right? Paid. Stopped. That was on the turn. Stop. Paid, right? Look at the difference between your 30-point stop, and really, you could even go as far to say, because usually what happens if you break this down a little bit further, this bar usually doesn't get reversed on. So see how you would have entered this bar here and said if it flattens down, I've got to get out, right? So now you're in here, you're out here. That's an 11 to 91. It's a 20-point stop, right? Versus if you entered here on the short, and you perfectly nailed it, okay? So we all know that doesn't happen. It's still 81 to 10, 70 points against a 20-point stop, right? So now keep going through there. Short, let's say you didn't recognize as reversing, you get stopped. Let's just count that as a stop. Stop, right? Stop and stop. And where I wanted to point this out is once you start ripping on those big reversals, these will stop, right? So hold on for a second. There's important, and Bill and I go back and forth on this conversation all the time, okay? Are you in balance or are you discovering new pricing? Okay, so everyone knows I don't advocate, first of all, just shorting randomly, right? If anything, the one short I would have advocated for here would be this, right? So this, I'm just pointing, so what I'm trying to point out, right, is not that you should be, taking every turn bar or taking every algo, because otherwise I'd program the algos like that and I'd put it out there and go, here, do this. I already know that doesn't work because you're going to get caught off on days like this where it's going to cause you to lose money, okay? What I do advocate for and have many times, right, if you're going to short above, get a buyer stuck up top and then get the algo below like that. Okay, again, when you're up here like this, like if you look where this reversal finally came in, where I would have advocated, Simon, I want a short, I'm going to tell you where I would have done it. None of these, none of these, none of these. I need a down dot, first of all. There you go. Last dot up. Draw a line underneath. That I do advocate for. If you're going to look for a top and look for a way to short a top, I advocate for that. I would say that is appropriate trade. And then the same thing when we're heading down, okay, in free fall, like this. And this still takes losses sometimes, but it takes a lot of big extensions, okay? Last sell bar down, I advocate for that long, right there, 100%. Every time, if you told me you take that and you told me over time, I'd say there's no way you're negative over time. You may have some down days, but there's no way you are negative over time. And when I'm above this, like up here, right, I am praying and hoping that down low somebody will sell when we're in a trend up. Like this guy right here, I'd have given anything to get a bar up over him, right? So let me show you where it doesn't work. So this is obviously first half hour. I just said long on that guy and it didn't work out, right? But as we come down, 10 o'clock, I said long on this guy too, right? And while it didn't work out all the way through, it certainly was enough to pay you. This is my last seller down. So actually this guy was the one up right here, or this guy right here. Seller down. The algo was way late. It was all the way over there. But that pattern works. It does. And if you would clear, oh, that was Asia too. If you clear your mind on how you're trading, you will see that pattern. There's zero doubt in my mind. Where the disappointment comes in is, you know, some of us are really good traders and you can go, that's going to be a top right there, right? For whatever reason, that's going to be a top, right? And then you don't get the algo, right? You get the algo down here and it's still paid, but it's hard for us to take it when it's all the way over there, right? So it takes time to train your brain. That's all there is to it, right? And then sometimes you're going to look at it and you know, well, Simon, what do we do in this situation where you got the roll all the way down and then you got the algo on the turn and it went up and I didn't take it because I didn't have anything down on the way down, right? I didn't have anything in my favor on the way down. And my response to that's pretty simple. Sometimes it's just going to look like this and you're not trying to trade the market. You're trying to trade so what this is teaching you to do is to trade volume patterns without having to constantly analyze those patterns, right? Which is why this works, right? You get this and this. That's why that works. Someone stuffed themselves. So I guess I know this and Bill knows it and others don't, right? Someone stuffed themselves up here, right? So what I'm looking for is for them to go, oh, I give up. That's the give up bar. And how do we know they're giving up? Because we can see the volume. Right now, you can open up and start doing comparative volume analysis in real time. I can't do it, but somebody could, right? And then you could figure that out on your own. I don't know how you would do it on the fly and make a trading decision, right? But that would work. So the first thing I tell people when you're trading is, first of all, if you're going to enter on a bar with a dot, number one, right? Number two thing, try to line it up with getting that dot so that you're either above the 100 or below the 200. You'll get enough winning trades in there. And that the third thing is watch out if we go sideways into balance. And I've already said, because we already know this area all the way through here, right? We already know this area all the way through here, right? Why did this short not work out? Well, look where we are, right? Look, this short did not work out. Why I'm talking about that white bar down? Because look where we are. We're right in the middle of this. The third day that we're right in the middle of this, right? And nobody cares, right? So when you come in and put your volume in, everyone else, like if you look at a volume profile of this thing, it's just huge here. There's the profile. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 days of value area. Stay out. That's what that's telling you. Get out, stay out, right? And so you can apply the same thing to today, and it doesn't last forever, just so you know. We have days where we go sideways, like this. See that up there? 1, 2, 3 days. Oh wait, that's now. I just had another example. Right there. Okay, that was 11-11. 1, 2, 3 days. Look at all the beautiful trading you get after that here. If you don't believe me that it's beautiful trading. That is beautiful trading, right? Nice, big, wide, rotating ranges. What is this? Choppity chop, 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 chop. Up here. Talk about your yuck. We have econ, by the way, at 9 a.m., a lot of it. So just be aware. Yuckity, yuck, yuck, yuck. And look where the hardest place to trade. Where's the hardest place to short? Just put a line right in the middle of this. Hardest place to trade. Right there in the middle. Now look where we are right now. Put a line in the middle of all that. Okay? And that is the hardest place to trade. That 608 to 587 is just a nightmare. Okay, so if you're going to keep trying to put trades on in there, don't be surprised if you keep getting stopped. If we balance out in there sideways, don't be surprised if the algo gets stopped, right? And if you look this morning, what's the thing doing? Trading straight through those areas, right? So, oh, it's short. I'm going to come back in and take the reversal white bar down. Oh, it went up. What's it going to do? Get up here or get down there? That's all there is to it. No one cares. And it's thin, which is why we're getting these ridiculous moves early in the morning. It's thin, and that makes it harder. Okay? So just hold your breath. Enter on an algo for sure if you're going to enter. Know whether you're above the 100 and 200 and watch that we go sideways. And once you get up on the day, on at least one account, right? Have one account where you're like, hey, I paid myself $600 today, right? I paid myself $600. That's pretty good for most of us, right? I would take it, right? My wife has to listen to crazy people for hours to get $600, right? She has to listen to people who are having serious problems. So I'll tell you my wife's rate. It's $240 an hour is what my wife makes, okay? But she has to figure out how to keep a 12-year-old kid from killing themselves, right? And whether to commit them or not to commit them, and then coordinate with a psychiatrist and figure out what little medication there is so these terrified little parents, not little, big parents, can figure out how not to walk in their kid's room and find them dead one morning, right? That's what they're doing. That's what my wife does. And she only gets $240 for that. You'd think they pay more, but they don't, right? You'd think they pay more, but they don't, okay? So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. That's what's going on. That's how that works. And they just ripped it the whole other way. I would get frustrated, but they've been doing it every single day. So what's the point in getting frustrated about it, right? Open drive higher from inside the range. I don't know what else, right? Okay. And I would skip the first half hour. That's what I would do. I don't have anything else to add besides that. They took it all the way back. Just hilarious. NQ up 150 points. So, pretty sick market if you ask me. Sick as in interesting, but sick nonetheless. I don't think we've hit the high yet, but I bet they're going to. Man, there's a new high on the day. This is the most frustrating market to trade when it does this. There's just no balance in the thing at all. There's no one underneath or inside or any other way, right? It's just come in here and get ripped apart if you get it wrong, especially early in the day. So I would avoid early in the day by 100 miles. I would avoid early in the day, and that is open drive higher, and that's a complete reversal of the pattern. And that is a breakout back above the high. They took the whole thing back. That was your long right there, believe it or not. Crazy. I would not want to be short this. Just unreal. And that's 3 days of consolidation. So if they're going to do an upside break, I'd suppose that's how they do an upside break. And ES is up 18. Anyways, there may be nothing to do. That may be the whole move for the day. I need a pull down to get this to get long, and I'm certainly not going to short it. Very frustrating week overall, but it's been profitable but frustrating. Cut it out. Uh, Trump has said something. He approved tiny cars in America. I don't know what that means, but he approved tiny cars. That's he said that right at the open, 17 seconds ago, apparently. I don't even know what that means. Oh, got it. Okay, well, there you go. Tiny. Why that is worth a pump to the high is beyond me, but that's what he did. I don't know what it has to do with the NASDAQ, but it liked it. Oh, got it. Well, then who knows? Maybe that was just, he put it out on Truth Social just a second ago, apparently, or I'm off on my timing. It doesn't matter. He just reposted it at 8:32 a.m. That's where that came from. But it wouldn't surprise me if he said it yesterday too. That's where I got that from. Doesn't much matter, does it? Unless today's not the 5th. Push that down. If you want to be long, you'd want to see a seller press down here is what you'd want to see. Like that. Now you'd want to see a dot above them. Notice if you took your dots, it was stop, paid. That survived a 24-point stop for the roll to the downside. Okay. Only problem is when we start ripping, those stop. Okay, all there is to it. Back in underneath yesterday's high. Another press down. That's going to be your long dot right there. Wow. I'm telling you, this first half hour is just so hard to trade, guys. You want nothing to do with it, I assure you. You want nothing to do with it. It's just so hard to trade that it's just impossible. It's really crazy. Like, I don't know how people do it because you're just asking for, I'm sure there's another piece of news that just came out too that we can't see. I'm sure of it. Like, it's not even like, oh, I'm guessing. There's another piece of news, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sure. It's just total destruction of people's accounts when the market moves this fast. You got to get over that 25, 725 for whatever that's worth. Again, no one cares to defend one way or the other. You're just wish-washing people they're just killing people on the edges is what they're doing. You'd think 13 get tested. I'm also watching ES for my algos. Like that was a on the open. What were we off the low there? I mean, it was just pretty impressive. 575 to 778, 200 points, and then from 778 to 677, 100 points down. Better be, just wait for it to nimble out. We're trying to sell off against that 25,713. You get above the 713, they'll squeeze them back the other way. A dot over now should push it. That 27, I'm not taking it. It's not after 9 o'clock, but that dot over should push them back up. I would take that if it was after 9 o'clock. Let's see, I got the dot down. Yeah, it's the dot over this guy. That's where my big seller was on my 40 tick. Right. So we didn't get it on the 24, it's over here. So. And by the way, the algo that we're running, right, we're taking a stop here and a win here. I don't like that. I should get a retest back to the 25,750. See, once it settles a little bit and you get past the crazy rotation, you can tell which way it's going to go. You couldn't pay me to trade the first half hour right now. It's just nutty. And it makes it a lot less, for me at least, guiding people. It makes it a lot less difficult for me to guide you which way. Like I would have said the same thing here, right? The sell bar, take the up bar, right? There's the up bar, take the sell bar below, and it's either this one or this one of the two. And then over here, I would have said same thing here, dun, 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 dun. Oh, we didn't get the up bar up on top on 24. They were all sellers up on top. Interesting. We did get it on the, so if you put this line over from here, the other way to do it is to get the higher time frame volume and use the lower time frame to enter. So this is chart number 10. Come on now. There was your up volume right there. There was your first orange dot underneath your up volume, right? And that's still where they're stuck at that 25,758, which is probably where we're going to retest that guy. So to look at it another way, down here, here's your last heavy seller on the way down. I don't know why that didn't appear. Should have. Oh, because it's back over here. There you go. Last heavy seller on the way down. 24 tick. Orange bar through. Marrying volume to volume. Where's that? 50. Rejected out the 58, which is not a surprise. You also had that 50 there, which is the European point of control. The green dash line is the Asian first hour point of control. The white one's the European first hour point of control. And we're just playing ping pong. So now, right, if I said, hey, Simon, where do you think it might go lower? I'd say yellow dots below that might let it fall away, right? Or I've got to find one on the 24 where I get a push up and I get resistance to it. I don't want to keep referencing all the way back to the left, right? Remember, all we need is 1 or 2 good trades a day to get paid, right? And if you can't figure out which trade to take, certainly don't take a trade without a dot on it, right? That's your first friend. It's your first line of defense, right? And then secondly, look where they are on the higher time frame, right? I used to get crushed in markets like this because I couldn't handle the 200 points in seconds rotation, and I'd be looking for an A, B, C, D type leg, and when they got the A, B, and then the C was just the in between before the CD was just a ripper like this, man, I hated life. 10 minutes to a lot of econ. Everyone doing all right? Any questions? Just stay calm. Like I said pre-market, they're ripping and no one's defending, right? So we want to get it changed. And in order to do that, we either have to get out of this range or get above this range. Either one would be fine with me. And if you're gonna, my suggestion, you take a trade and you need to have a good trade. Mine's either the first bar with a circle on it below circle up, or vice versa for the long, and or on the turn. The other thing I want to say is don't increase your trade size in the middle of the day if you're trading well. Do not choose New York lunch to increase your trade size. It's a bad idea. New high of the day. New high on the day. I wonder why this is not printing. I just have 0 orange circles on this. This is not right. Something's wrong here. Did I just not save it yesterday? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Where are you? And it works the same principle on ES, right? Circle below, circle above, see you, right? So I would have said you got to get the short in underneath there. Now that you're above these guys, the first circle up should lift. And we're on trend day now. Into resistance. Plus 176 on NQ. Again, you'll see that relationship on the 40 tick work twice. Here, here. And this one is particularly nice because it's above the 100 and 200 off the 40 tick, right? That's a big deal. And you're 5 minutes in front of econ. The algo should do well today if we go trend up. That's pretty normal. Trend up, they tend to do well. A little slippy in front of the econ. And you can see which algos the machine would have taken if you'd been trading. It's a great way to learn. This is a trader assist, right? Okay, 8:30 nothing, so stop. Long, I got a scale. It survived the 24. It depends on whether you moved your stop or not on that as to whether that survived and paid, right? Those are the 3 trades. This one, I can't tell on that one right now. This one's a little bit different we're experimenting with, but it would have gone long, long. We'll see how that one pans out. econ, so there's not much you can do about that. Just FYI. ES didn't back off at all. Selling was all in NQ. So that's always interesting when that happens. ES and trend day up. There's your last dot down right there. So a dot above that. Bye-bye. New high, yes. NQ's right behind it. So I would assume trend day up until you see it break back below yesterday. So go through your settings, right? Yesterday's high, right? We failed 2 traps at this point, right? So we know in order to sweep this range again, you got to be underneath 25,713. So assume that my assumption would be that you're going to try and hold this, right? That's you. So we're above Asia first hour, Europe first hour, Globex high, yesterday's high. All of that speaks to me of not fighting the market, right? All of that speaks to me of not fighting the market. Number one. So I want pushes down, and I want my algos up like that. So here I would actually take that. Same thing, 24-point stop, right? Now will it work? I have no idea, but it's the first dot over this, right? So I know my stop's like whatever this is, 2016, 96, 91, right? Now, do I like that? No. Oh, wait, was it 16, 06, 96, 91? Yeah, that's right. Do I like it? Nope. It's right at the high. Is it over my dots? Yep. So let's just see what happens. And if it stops, you size it. Believe me, I'm small on this. If you size it correctly, you just go, oh, well, it was a stop in a string of many trades, right? And then you can adjust the size. You can go, I don't like that trade on trend up. Okay, don't take the trade on trend up. I'm all right with that. If you think the market's going to tank here and you don't want to go long plus 186, don't go long. I'm all right with that too. The algo should not have fired there. It's not time to turn on yet. Yep. But it would have, had it been in the right place. It would have fired there. Green with purple square on the 30 tick. Purple circle, excuse me. These are all indicative of trend day up behaviors, right? Scale 32. So that was an 18 entry, right? I took 32 as my first scale. And now I can decide whether I want to close it out or let it ride. It's going to let it ride. That was a hard trade for me to take, and it was small size on top of that. It was just to show that that's the correct trade to take, and I know it is, right? I don't know if that helps y'all or confuses y'all. Is it helpful to know that, or confusing, or I hate that trade, Simon, or anything like that? Okay. I sure as heck don't want to short this. There's just no way I want to short this. Right, Brian? And if I did want to short, right, what would I do? Got to be underneath this guy right here. $97.50. If I want to do it on the shorter term picture, it's got to be underneath this guy right here, not next to him, under him, right? Not always. You can take a trade off profitable, have it off a process, have it be profitable, and it'll screw you in the future, Jason. So not always. Yeah, I know. I figured. I'm tired. It's been a long week. We did a lot of work this week. Not shorting up here. I don't care what the signal looks like. I know these get stuffed on trend day up. I'm hoping for a push down. This is what I'm hoping for. I wish they'd open poly to U.S. residents, U.S. citizens. Daily indices. So right now, let me tell you how good a bet this is. Okay, see this right here? It's poly market. Oh damn, they missed it. I would sell the 88 cents down right now. I don't know if this is if there's any market for this, but literally for 88 cents, right? And you can bet. So in order to collect, in order for whoever's buying this 88 cents for anyone to so here we'll click on this. Oh, this is December 8th. Sorry, got to find it for today. Let's see if I can find it for today. Saying Russell, Nasdaq 100, up or down. For December 5th, there we go. So it doesn't have a market on it yet. It's not there, but as soon as this market starts going, right, man, I would sell the 88 cents all day long. the chance of this thing reversing a trend day on Friday is super low. And as a matter of fact, what I'd wait for is for the first dip down and then go grab that, right? So at any rate, hopefully it starts trading here soon. I'm not sure when, but I've been watching them and marking them, and it's pretty, with our skill set, it's a pretty easy way to pick off money off of other traders. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm already doing it on Kolachi. Is that how I pronounce it? Am I getting it wrong? I want to say, I always want to call it. There's another daily bets market, basically, where you can bet on outcomes of things. And it's Kolachi. I always get it wrong. Let's see. I have an account with them. I should probably know. Kalashi, Kalshi, Kalashi, Kalshi. There. This one they do a little bit differently. Well, the NASDAQ 100 be 25,800 to 25,899, right? So there's only $8,000 in this market right now, right? Or buy NASDAQ 100 Eastern price above 25.8 or below 25.8 at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so 10 a.m. So that's in an hour, right? So obviously it could be below 25,800 in an hour. That wouldn't be a difficult bet to bet on. So you can see that 25,800 or above would cost you literally 42 cents per contract, right? And it pays $1 if you win, right? Or if you do below, what's the price? And then if you do 4 p.m., right, you can bet yes or no. So if you bet $100, if you bet $100 and it closes 25.7 to 25.799, you would win $353 for a $100 bet, right? If you bet no, a $100 bet would pay you $127, right? So at any rate, maybe not right now on trend day up, but there's a lot of days I've been just playing with it very, very small, and you look at it and go, oh, I know where this market, I have a pretty good idea of where this market's going to go. And again, you can see on the trend up, right? So to go back to the trade, right? This is my down. This is my first one up. My entry was 18. We're now at 58, 30 points or $600 a contract. Okay, so we will be able to adopt this to most our practices. Where we get in trouble with this, guys, I want to be very, very clear. Where we get in trouble with this is in sideways balance. If you can identify low range sideways choppiness, that's where you want to turn off your trader assist. Okay? Everything else is just to sit and trade it normal. That's all you have to do. Sit and trade it normal. That one trade paid you $600 for the day. That gets you, again, over your $300 average, which is $70,000 a year, right? If you'll keep pounding it. I've got to pound out that building that account and just getting that money is what all we're here for. So does everyone understand that? Anyone confused about that? I totally agree with that, Ed. Yeah. Who the heck sells this? It's beyond me. I guess there's some genius out there. So at minimum, I got to get below there. And the way I would place that bet is once we swoon down, that's when I would take the bet. Right? At any rate. So like here's a bet I would take 100%, right? See how we're on trend day up? And if I bet yes on 37 cents, right? That'll pay me out $1 if I'm correct. The odds that we close at 2,800 to 28,899 are high on trend days up on a Friday. Trend days are hard to reverse. Does that mean it has to? Nope. But it should. The interesting thing about this, the way this is running, is I could also bet on the 25. I could arbitrage that. That's interesting. You shouldn't be able to do that, right? Because I can bet on the yes, lose a quarter. I can bet yes on this and lose 38 cents. And either way, I come up with either 75 cents or 62 cents, right? I'll have to see if I can do that. So I'm going to go get my phone which it's on. It's a great return if you can read it. And what I would do is I'd wait for the first dip down, then I would make the bet. I do know this, we're going to have a really good year next year. Big volume all the way on top to the upside. There we go. That's the beginning of exhaustion. But it does not mean they have to roll it over or anything else. Just you got to get the dot underneath it to release. Otherwise, it's just a little breathing is all it is. you were mega aggressive on the short, and you for some reason thought we weren't going to stay in trend day up, now you're looking for the dot down. I am not taking that trade even on a few contracts. I'll just be interestingly amused if it works. So in your journal, write, hey, I had my chances, right? Go back and look what you're looking for. It's not like the last time you'll be here. Dot 40 tick, dot down, dot up, dot down, dot up, over the prior day's high for the launch. That's where that was. That one entry at 846 was 723 to 816, right? So on and so forth, right? So, and then if you want to point out where there was a loser in that philosophy, there and there, okay? And I don't have a problem with that, right? Because you would have just done fine everywhere else in that process, including back over here, where you were here and here, right? So as it extends, that idea gets harder to execute properly, right? But it's okay. So if you're looking for a potential short, see how that dot down is sitting there? I'm not taking this on any size contracts, okay? But your entry is 25,841. The dot's already there, right? And it'll be underneath if it closes underneath. And I don't know where you're trying to get back to because that thing's just on trend up. It's probably going to balance. But if you want the short, I don't. That's what you would look for. I think we played this pretty well. The algo will have taken no trades here unless we can get some volatility in. Well, actually, why didn't that fire? This was 905. Did anyone get a fire on theirs up here? I'll go check my live ones. Jason, do you have a fire up there? It should have been profitable. No, do not do that, Nate. No, you'll get smoked. You'll get smoked. Nate was asking if you see that dot, can you short it early? You cannot. You will get smoked doing that. Do not. Wait for the bar. Bill, is there a reason why this didn't fire and I'm missing it? 905. Did you have it? Right, but see this should have fired, brother. See that at 9:05? Uh, okay, no problem. But mine doesn't start till 9:03. So maybe that's why I didn't. I kind of suck a raise. That's all right. Don't worry about it now, Bill. We can look at it later. It did fire. Okay, for some reason my thing just missed it here. No problem. The sim didn't. Okay, good job. That should have been with scales, correct, sir? I'm going to log in and look now. All scales should have gone on that, correct? Got it. Okay, thank you, sir. There's your dot down. Okay, so Nate, that's what you're looking for. Do not front run that bar. Don't do it. I'm telling you, just wait for it. But that's exactly what you're looking for if you were wanting to short. I don't want to short, so let's get this bad boy fired up and go take a peek and see if I am up. What's your P&L there, Jason? Let's see if I match. On 20, good. That's a good Friday, brother. So we can get another trade in there. It should do well on trend day up. So your extension will come on a dot over this guy or something down here where it gives you an algo up. That's where your extension comes from. And remember, the shorts have to get underneath 28, 25, 8, 16 on a bigger picture. See what's above here. Okay. Higher low. And you have a whole series of naked points of control up here, like here. Here. And that's that first hour point of control way up here. I'll make that one bigger. Those are probably your targets. And then you have resistance right through there. And then obviously the high right up here. So that's what it looks like. Back to the left. So that 25,967 would be my next target. Totally achievable too. I still wouldn't. I'd wait till the bar forms, Nate. Because what if they flip it before the bar closes? Like right now. I bet you're getting them right now, right? We played with this. We had a hard time getting consistent on it. Just FYI. We tried. You could try it, but I could not get it to work. Okay. Let me know if you see that the other way around, brother. Diamond's down, Al goes up, we'll print. Circles up specifically. That would be why my trade didn't execute on this sim. There we go. Oh, Nate, that was pretty cool, huh? I'm looking for the algo up for the long. ECB's lane is speaking somewhere, so that may be what it is, supposedly. I'm limit 28.11 for the long. I'm long. $28.11 stop is 24 points, even on that bar. There's no circle on that, by the way. That's just green bar up. So trade it as you need to. That's how I'm trading it, right? So my stop is 11:01:91 Scaling off right here at 23. Scaling off again at 25. This is my trailer. My trailer will stay as is. You only need one trade on a day to get paid, right? I can tell you on 3 contracts on that trade, I'm up $800, right? And I'll take the next dot up as well, especially if it comes over this. That was a formerly A class trade, is now a B class trade, all right? Because the dots are my A plus. Okay. Did that trade make sense to everybody? Why I took it? Let's see if anything else took it. Nope. Okay, I'm going to flatten out right here at 30, and that puts me plus 901 on that, on 3 contracts at $300 per contract, plus 901 on the day, and I'll look for the dot up as my next trade. Now it's for manual. Obviously, the trader assist will grab it if it gets the dot up. That's yellow dot down, all right? Again, right off that 28.30, above the 100, above the 200, and I'm looking for the opposite. So Obviously, you can trade that if you want to. I don't want to. Not above and not in a trend day up environment. I'll wait. I'm looking for my dot up. Coming back for a retest. And Nate, that was a pretty cool read you had there, brother. And notice I still made money off my process by taking it on process, right? Yellow dot's my primary, which means if I take these become scalps, right? I know there's gonna be a yellow dot. I'm limit 93 for the long, and obviously the trader assist will take that. I win-win either way. If that gives me a dot down, I get the algo up above it. I'm fine. That's actually better, right? Or if it gives me an algo on the turn. That order's pulled right into the 200. Nate, did you record that on your machine by chance? This has to be a dot in order for me to take it. It's just going down too far, too fast. No algo, not the one that I wanted. That's good, but just not the algo that I wanted. Okay, so if you look, all right, here was your last buyer up. We got underneath it. That's where we started falling away, that 25,816, right? And that's where they started to get the sell pressure to the downside. I'm still looking for the dot. Oh, you don't have it. Okay, I'll go see. Good job. Nate took some of that short. Good for him. I'm gonna get a orange dot off of this, right? So I'm gonna cut my size because it's a 30-point stop. It's a 50 on the stop, so at 25,783, and I'll take that with 2 contracts if I take that. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll set up the way I want it to set up. Getting underneath the 200 here, who knows why we're reversing. This market's been freaking methamphetamine freak lately, so. Wow. Is someone speaking? Anyone got anything? What a fickle market. And I've got nothing till I get something. Looking, looking, looking. Below the 200 now, guys. So the algo will not fire. It's below the 100, will not fire on the trader assist. Back into European point of control. I did not envision this. And I'm pretty sure no one else did either, but that's all right. So I'm telling you, these kinds of markets rip people apart. They're not ripping us apart. It's very, very important to remember that. These kind of markets rip people apart. There's your, now we're below the 200. The dot's got to come over this for me. It's got to. I don't know what's the cause of the rollover. I don't even care. I just know where I got to take the algo, right? So I'm sure someone will try the 25.713. I'm not. I don't know why we're rolling down so hard. That's a fat roll from 880 to 728. Okay. So I know where I want to take my trades. It'll be an orange dot or better above 25.744. The trader assist will not fire in this environment, just FYI. And we're now triggered to the short side. Pretty amazing. So now we're flipped the other way. Wow, nice job, Jason. I'm willing to short down here. We're below the 100 and 200. It's just got to be on a dot. I hate it, but that's what it is. Short. I got it at 51. I was a little bit late, and I only got a partial position, so I'm closing it. Flat market all, 10 points. Sorry, I was typing instead of trading. I only got a few contracts. I was late. That's my last dot down. If he gets over 25,783, or if you're just going to take the dot on the turn. I don't have a dot on it. Do you? Nate? I was talking and I was late. I sent limits. Good job. 40. I don't have that. You do. Ours doesn't, that doesn't look right. On the 40 tick? Look at my 40 tick. I'm on 40. I don't have that. I have 1, 2 bars up. You have a bar down, bar up, bar down that I don't have, brother. What time do you start? Oh, 37 tick. Okay, I don't use 37. That's a long, based on this being over the orange. It's in a tough place, but that is a long 24-point stop. If you're willing to go long under the 200, I want to be clear. If you're willing to go long under the 200, okay? You don't have to do that. You can just wait. They set up plenty on the right side, right? They set up plenty on the right side. The stop on that is roughly, the rough on the stop on that is 51, 31, 26 is the stop on that. Okay. I don't know why the market's going up or down. It's been one of the hardest weeks for me to get a gauge on where we're going. Like we're not taking out any traps. We've just come down to test prior day's high, and we're floating all over the place. But that is above the last orange dot down, this one up right here. And I would point to that in the room. I would point out to that if I was doing coaching or in a video. I'd go down, up, over. That should come back up and test. Now, will it? No idea. I hate how this market's trading right now. And that may just be me, but I hate how it's trading. 26 stops that out if you're trying for the reversal off the bottom there. Or otherwise you're short off the turn up here to go lower. The reversal underneath the 200 is no question is a harder trade. I'd just rather trade in the direction of it's easier. you pretty much assume if that down bar prints that you got to stop if you tried for the reversal, unless you take your scale out right there quickly. But most people wouldn't have done that. Okay, so when I call out the opposite trade, you got to be thinking, am I thinking reversal or am I trading with indirection? This is indirection and it's the easier trade. I got stopped if you took that. Okay, I want to be clear what the trades are here. Okay, the trade is not this. Okay, this trade right here, I want to be clear on my process. This trade right there, this trade right there, that is not on my process. When we're over the 100 and over the 200, I want to be in the direction of. It's how the algo is set up. It is how I am trading it. Some people in the room want to short. If you want to short, I would suggest you get underneath a bar up before you start taking it. If you wanted to do that, a circle up. One, worked beautifully today. 1, 2, 3. All 3 of those worked if you wanted to do that. But I can show you days where it doesn't work and you'll be in a lot of pain. I'm all right if you want to do that, right? So please don't come back to me and say, well, you didn't take this long here, right? I know where my process is. I understand what I'm trying to accomplish, and I needed a dot up, which was this, on above. Okay, that's how I am trading this. I want to be clear. All of these trades are if you want to catch reversals. And so if you wanted to do that, those were valid entries. I pointed them out. Okay. I took this because it's just a turn on the bar on the 100 period in what I thought was trend up. Okay, that thesis for the most part is gone at this point, right? And so now that I'm underneath, same story. If you want to try for the reversal, this was a valid entry. If you're trading with the trend, that's the valid entry. And I would rather trade with the trend in the direction of. Tends to work better for me unless we are way extended or taking out a prior day support level or I'm looking for a reversal. Both methodologies work. They are both on process. Pick one and trade it the way you want to trade it would be my suggestion. I know that's what I'm doing. Now, if I want a reversal, I have another candidate. If I want to trade in the direction of, I have a candidate. You're trying to short right into prior day's high, by the way. If you're shorting that, again, I will probably take the next out above that coming off the high or retrace back up. I may be wrong, right? If it traps back underneath 25,113, my assumption is we're going to sweep to the other end of the range, or at least Globex low. And this is not my best market to trade, meaning I'm not very good when we're sweeping just constantly like this. I tend to suck at it, right? So I'm being really selective at what I'm taking. But don't let me stop you from taking the trade you want to take, right? Please don't let me do that. Take your trade. I designed this algo so you actually don't even need me. Back into prior day's high. I've got no algo off of it. I now have to get above this guy to go higher. This would be stage 1, this would be stage 2. And I really wish we could just pick a direction and take it, but we can't, and that's all right. Jason, you should still be positive on the trader assist. Same with you, Brian, right? Good job. Good job. No guessing. Dot up by itself is not sufficient. I've got to be above one of these guys. That's obviously where they pressed. If you want to guess, the dot up by itself has a good chance of going, but I want it above this right now. But if I had to guess, I'm going to guess on a dot up. Okay. The stop by that, by the way, on that is 32, 22, 17. And I did not take that. I am not long. For that reason right there. Long is easiest when we're over the 100 and over the 200. And that is a 62 retrace of that first hour, by the way. It's usually not a good sign. Man, what a hard freaking market we are in. In terms of just getting the read right, I don't care. I don't care who you are. It just doesn't matter to me. It's hard. We are behind the 62 retrace. That's generally no bueno. So maybe someone knows more than I did. That was a beautiful head fake. Trap back in underneath 25,713, which means you're open to sweeping that range again. Again, I am not long down here at all. I'm not looking for the long. That is a complete fat reversal. No matter how you look at it. Down 180 off the high, roughly. Good job, Bill. Yep, I see that. Now I have to get above this guy. And we're far enough away where I'll probably attempt that. Small size. Contra. Your short entries were here, which I took, but I missed most of my trade, right? And I covered it out. You could have shorted that there if you're willing to short down in the channel, right? And I don't think you should have taken, I don't see any, the only long I thought was right here, and it failed, and I wasn't long, so. This is about to print a bar up at 13 on the 30 tick. If you're looking for a reversal, it's right into prior day's low, right? So remember, you don't have to flip to contra trading, guys. Just trade with emotion. Just wait till it gets. Let me be clear, because some people seem to be getting confused. I am not for the room. I think you should be trading for the most part, just like this algo. Okay? Just like this algo. Okay? Underneath, short, above, go long. If you want to contra trade, the option's there for you. I'm not in love with it, right? I am not in love with it. Okay, I just want to be clear. I am not in love with it. I think it's freaking harder, and it's hard to flip your brain both ways. I have a very hard time with it. If I think it'll reverse and we're into a major area, I'll go, oh, reversing. This is trapped underneath the prior day's high. Like, that's horrible. A lot of volume coming in. Nothing to do. Just wait, wait, wait. White bar, blue dot at the bottom. If you want to speculate, when I was talking about getting the reversal, that's where you would take the trade small. It's a 30 point. It's a 30 point stop. Okay, it's a 30 point stop. Okay, so the entry on that is right at 713. The stop is 0393.83. You really want it right below here. Let's see. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. You want it actually like 81. Okay, so take it. If you're going to speculate, hey, that's the reversal bar, right? You take it, you put your stop in at 81, you trade it small, right? Like 2 micros, 3 micros if you're just starting off, and you go, let's see what happens. That's usually a pretty good algo, right? And then what I would be shooting for in that is like 50 points to start with, like 25,700, 25,750. 25,760, 25,787. Like I'd look for it to push off of that, right? That's what I would be looking for if I were to take that trade, right? And I am taking it small. I took it with one little measly contract. May stop me out. But I need the extension on that. I need to be clear. I need an extension on that Okay. I need an extension on that because the risk is big. And the whole point of taking that is so that I can catch the swing at the edges. It's the only reason to take that. Okay? It's the only reason in my book to take that. And I'm looking, if you're willing to contra trade, you're now above your last circle down. Write down the conditions when you're doing this. Circle down below the 200, back above 25,713, right? Back above prior day's high. And I'm looking on the 24 tick for a orange dot up or better for the long with a 24-point stop. That's what I'm doing. Right? So on one account, I'm swinging it. That's my swing. Keep it small. You're going for the push. It's going to stop sometimes. Do not get me wrong on that. It is going to stop as sure as the day is long sometimes. Okay? So you've got to be willing to take the stop. Otherwise, do not trade that. Don't. Don't trade it. It's the only reason to take that trade is that you're going to swing the heck out of that thing. The rest of us should be over here, right? The most conservative of us are looking for the yellow dot, orange dot above the 100, right? If you're willing to contra trade underneath, then you can take the orange dot once it's above something, a dot that formed below it. That's it. That's what you're doing. There's no other trick to it. And by the way, here's just to revisit. This is on an 8 tick on ES. So blue dot down. That wasn't over. This is the first one over. That was right at 8:31. Blue dot down. Blue dot over. Blue dot up. No blue dot down. I'm going to count that as a stop, and then or scale and stop, however you want to look at it. And then that's a long right there so far. Okay. Over the 100, over the 200, right? Am I being clear in how I'm explaining that so that no one gets bent out of shape and everyone's like understanding what I'm talking about there? This is for the Jason. We discussed this in our coaching. Is that not exactly how I pointed that out? Maybe it's not, but I think it is. Maybe Jason stepped away. Nice trades. Nice job, Jason. That's a great day, dude. Again, 81 stops that long out there, and that is part of the biz. That happens, right? Nothing horrible about it. Someone just sent me their numbers. 100 above, below 200 long, plus 260. 100 above, below 200 short, plus 450. Close above 100, zero dot long, plus 346. That's on 20 micros, but I know that. Okay, and then the one manual trade, plus 120. Obviously, back to about 2709.50, you got that guy stuck. He is pressing for a break of that prior day's low. Looking for a yellow dot above this, orange dot or better above this guy. And again, 81 stops this trade out over here. That's part of the deal. The best you could have gotten that would have been 13 to 43, which is 30 points. You got a 1-to-1 RR off on that, roughly. And balance stopped out. Oh, and if you're trading in the direction underneath the 200, man, I went full dummy on you. I'm sorry. I didn't even take it. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, stopping with the reversal things. I'm just taking the bars in the direction up. So sorry. Apologies. Wow. They sunk it. I don't know what I was thinking. Holy cow. Ed, did you get the white bar on the orange dot short? Should have done that. Bill says IV stat satisfied. We're trapped back into the range. That is pretty messed up. All I gotta say. So much for my trend day up stats. Well, got to get above that 25,709. Or the beat plays on. I'm going to flip it all the way back around. So hard to tell with the sweeping ranges. Look at that. Another hourly bar that can get completely re-auctioned. Wow. Guys, I'm going to shut off my Trader Assist at 11 a.m. because I am leaving to go to lunch with my wife. And I do not want to get chopped like I did yesterday afternoon. I'm up all the way across the board, and I'm pretty happy with that. I did not trade great either. I didn't trade poorly, but I didn't trade great. That will be a valid short if you're willing to short in the hole at 79, right? Same stop, 24 points. I don't know how to guide that. It's 79. Let's see, it's 79, 89, 99, 04. I hate that whole. I feel out of rhythm. Like usually I can look at it and go, we're going to do this, right? And I'll be long above that for a trade back into here. But I hate that whole idea. Or two. You have knock on supernova. Nothing. Just, yeah. Bar up, but not underneath bar down. You had a big push on the volume there at 10:30. So those guys are kind of stuck down there on the sellers. You'd think they'd have to get undone for a second. What I'm referencing is this on the 1 minute. See that as we're pushing down? That's the biggest volume down right there. So as we get above that guy, that's at 692. Yeah, that guy could have to get squeezed out. But you have to get above him first. And we're starting to go into chop. So at 11, I will freeze these accounts, whether they're up or down. It's been an okay day, considering. Has to be above 92.75 to go, and you can see that's where they're fighting it. That's where that guy's stuck with the volume. Yeah, it's a street fight for sure. Guys on YouTube, I'm going to cut it off. I'll be back on Monday. But I thought the trading was pretty good today in terms of following the process, profitable.